What does that mean again for Shang-Chi 2? I'm going to put this out there. I'm going to manifest this because I want this to be to happen. I want to see Shang-Chi in Spider-Man 4. Breaking news, breaking news, breaking news to all my MCU Spider-Man fans out there. This is coming exclusively from the Hollywood Reporter. As you all can see, Spider-Man 4 finds its director in Destin Daniel Cretton. This is an exclusive. We got to talk about it because this, again, is breaking news for the MCU. As the article reads, Destin Daniel Cretton is going wherever a spider can. It says that the filmmaker who did Shang-Chi and The Legend of Ten Rings is in talks to sign to direct Spider-Man 4. In talks, it's probably going to be confirmed sooner rather than later. But as it continues to say, the move brings an end to the speculation of who will spin the web of the biggest franchises in Hollywood. Cretton will bring fresh blood to the iteration of Spider-Man, which stars Tom Holland and is co-produced between two separate studios. Obviously, we know Sony as well as Disney and Marvel Studios, and it will make him the fourth director to make a Spidey solo feature. Now, there hasn't been any comments yet from Marvel or Sony, but I anticipate that to happen in the next few days, if not by the later of this week, or maybe at the end of the day. It says that Holland's Spider-Man movies grew into $1 billion franchise with Spider-Man No Way Home. We all know that. It was a great film, made a lot of money. We have the writers who wrote that film that are returning. Of course, we know Kevin Feige and Sony Amy Pascal will be producing this movie. It goes on to state that the sources say that Spider-Man 4 is running, not crawling, full steam ahead to shoot early next year, which is interesting because there was a photo of Tom Holland this past weekend who was doing a secret shoot. Obviously, it's not for this film, and I have my thoughts. It can be something completely different from Marvel, but that is interesting. They will be shooting early next year, which we'll talk about my speculation on when we can expect to see this film. But let's continue to read this article. It is unclear what the story will be, as No Way Home ended with the world forgetting that who told me, okay, this is all about the last movie. Zendaya, they don't know if she's coming back. And then it talked about the potential casting. And Cretton is popular for Marvel Fold. He did Shang-Chi. He's considered a highlight post-Avengers Endgame phase of the movies. And he was on board to direct the Avengers Kang Dynasty, which we'll talk about, but dropped off in November. The project with different things behind the scene, as we know, Jonathan Majors doing Wonder Man, which we'll talk about here with Yahya Abdul-Mateen II, which is currently in post-production. And as it also states, the filmmaker is currently attached to doing the Naruto live action, the anime, and also doing the sequel to Shang-Chi 2. What does that mean? Is that coming in conflict with those projects, especially Shang-Chi 2? Okay, so let's talk about this. It's a lot to digest. So number one, Daniel, great director. I've seen all of his work for Short Term 12. You know, he did the film with Michael B. Jordan. I can't remember the name, with Brie Larson. Really good movie with Jamie Foxx. And of course, we know he did Shang-Chi. So great director. I think he does a great job with character development, really focusing on character, great interactions, but then transition that into what we saw with Shang-Chi, his first kind of big blockbuster film. I love Shang-Chi. I love the action. I love the new characters. Wen-Wu is one of my favorite villains in the MCU, not just of Phase 4, but like of all time. He's like top 5 in my opinion. So like he knows how to do great action, and I can just imagine what he's going to do with Spider-Man, with the action, web slinging through New York or Battle World. We'll talk about that here in a second, but I do have questions regarding what he's currently working on. We know that, as they mentioned, I believe he directed maybe 1 or 2 episodes of Wonder Man with Yahya Abdul-Mateen II, which will probably be coming out next year, and they're doing post-production. So, you know, schedule's clear for that. But they mentioned, you know, Naruto. You know, we know, I don't watch the show, but I know it's a very popular anime, and I know he was announced as a director earlier this year or last year. So is that postponed, pre-production? Like, when is that? I mean, listen, I don't watch the show. I know there's fans of it. I prefer him to focus all his energy on Spider-Man, but how does that affect that project? And then obviously the elephant in the room, Shang-Chi 2. Like, obviously when he was mentioned to be the director of Avengers Kang Dynasty, when it was named that was questioned, like, what's going on with Shang-Chi? Like, what's going on there? But then there was rumors that Shang-Chi was going to be heavily involved in the 5th Avengers, and they were maybe going to make an amalgamation of what that film would have been, Shang-Chi 2, and kind of incorporate some of the story into the Avengers, because we know the Ten Rings most likely has some type of connection to Kang, as well as the Bangles from Miss Marvel. So there was some speculation that that's how they were going to address what's going on with Shang-Chi, have him be the lead of the Avengers film and have some of that story be extended to that. But now with that being off the board, it's him not being the director of Avengers 5, and we obviously know the Russo brothers coming back. What does that mean again for Shang-Chi 2? Listen, I'm going to say this. Wouldn't be surprised, and we know that Marvel, I don't want to say this is a Marvel problem, but once they got the Fantastic Four, X-Men, they have all the rogues gallery of characters they have on their plate now. It's kind of hard to have like solo movies now. So they're going to start to be combining characters in movies. We saw that with Thor Ragnarok. We saw that with Captain America, Civil War. Obviously, the Avengers films are meant to bring everyone together, but we saw that Love and Thunder, Guardian. So there's going to be a lot of crossover. We saw that with the Marvels most recently of characters interacting with each other in each other's movies. I'm going to put this out there. I'm going to manifest this because I want this to be to happen. I want to see Shang-Chi in Spider-Man 4. Now, the question is, with them shooting this next year, and we know that Avengers 5, which is Doomsday, is coming out in 2026, is this going to be before that film? Meaning that we're going to see Spider-Man on the ground level, doing his thing, which a lot of us want, but then they're saying that Sony wants this to be a multiversal film, which if that's the case, Avengers 5, whatever happens there, and then we go into Spider-Man. And I know there's been a lot of speculation that we might see Spider-Man on Battle World. Essentially, when Doom makes an amalgamation of this world of on this earth fighting one another, and it's just all these heroes, villains on one world, and Spider-Man, Shang-Chi, Battle World, Spider-Man 4. If we're not going grounded, Daredevil level, with Spider-Man, then I would love to see a Shang-Chi Spider-Man collaboration on Battle World. The Avengers are all split up after the events of Avengers 5, Doomsday. I'm down for that. So again, let me know in the comments, number one, what you think about this director, Daniel. I think he is incredible. I love what he did with Shang-Chi. I love what he does with characters. And again, can you imagine the action sequences that he's going to whip up for this film? It's going to be immaculate. Let me know your thoughts on him as a director. Let me know what other announcements you think we're going to get. Is it going to be announced that this is official by the end of the day, end of the week, end of the month, end of the year? And what other announcements do you all want to see? If they're shooting next year, I'm thinking it's going to be the film right before Doomsday, or it's going to be in between Doomsday and Avengers Secret Wars that we're going to get this film 2027, if not 2028. So let's talk about it in the comments. Are you happy about the announcement? Sad about the announcement? What other announcements do you think we're going to have? Do you think Shang-Chi will be in Spider-Man 4 to kind of, consolidate him as a director, Wonder Man and Naruto and doing all this stuff, and like have him, be able to keep his head on his shoulders and take Shang-Chi 2 storyline and characters, not overshadow Spider-Man, but have them have, again, Thor, Hulk, Captain America type of collaboration where you have two major superheroes working together to fight Doctor Doom, figure out the 10 rings, so on and so forth. So a lot to digest here. Crazy news. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you for watching the video. Like, share, comment. We'll be back talking about whatever happens with this because I am pretty excited about the news.
Yeah.